X here, back today with a video. But quickly, before I get into it, make sure you do click that subscribe button down below. Click that red subscribe button. It's free and it helps out the channel massively as well. It helps in terms of growing and moving forward. And look, on the road to 900 subscribers, so getting very close to that 900 mark. And yeah, look, the goal is to get to 1K by the end of the season. But if you're enjoying the content, look, there's plenty more coming in the season coming up. So we've got lots of previews, reviews, all Warriors content on this channel. You won't be disappointed. So yeah, make sure you do subscribe to the channel down below and click the thumbs up, click the like button on the video and click the bell so you don't miss a notification when I upload a new video or do a live stream. But let's get into it now. I'm going to give a player ratings for the Warriors players that represented the Indigenous and the Maori All-Stars last night. Now, the Maori All-Stars won the game, 16 points to 10. Great game, very entertaining. Yes, there were a few errors at the start because of the wet weather conditions in Sydney, but I really enjoyed it. The pre-match in terms of the haka and the Indigenous wall dance as well, that was awesome. That was great to watch. And we also saw a really entertaining game between both these teams, despite the wet weather conditions in Sydney. But the first player I'm going to go through and give a rating is Josh Curran, who represented the Indigenous. He was our sole represent for the Indigenous All-Stars team. And look, Josh Curran, he played 47 minutes. And his stats were 8 hit-ups, 9 all-runs, 80 all-running meters, and 30 post-contact meters. He made 3 tackle breaks. And what's going on here? Sorry guys, the app's playing up a bit. So 18 tackles he made. And look, I got to say, Josh Curran, that's a very good performance by Josh Curran for the Indigenous last night. I'm going to give him a rating now. And look, I will say I'll give him a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think Josh Curran had a pretty solid game. He did a good job. Defensively, he was very good. And yeah, look, he showed why he deserved to be selected for the Indigenous last night. So 7.5 for me for Josh Curran. Now, on to the Maori All-Stars team, the New Zealand Maori All-Stars team. And look, I think for the Maori All-Stars, you have a lot of standouts there. You know, last night you had the likes of James Fisher-Harris, Joseph Tarpanane, who got the man of the match last night. But for the Warriors, in terms of player ratings, now I'm going to go through and rate first Chanel Harris-Tavita. Look, Chanel Harris-Tavita. I think he had a very quiet game. Now, I don't think he did too much in this one against the Indigenous. You know, I think Cody was more of a dominant sort of halfback. I think he showed a bit more than what Chanel Harris-Tavita showed. And look, I'll rate Chanel's stats. So 8 all-runs, all running meters 128, 24 post-contact meters, 1 tackle break, and 1 line break, and 1 offload for 9 tackles. And some other stats here for Chanel Harris-Tavita, 148 kicking meters. So, look, I don't think Chanel Harris-Tavita was shocking or terrible, but I don't think he really stood out for me. So I'm going to give Chanel Harris-Tavita here a 5 out of 10 for me. But we will see how he goes in the preseason trials coming up with the game against Melbourne Storm for the Warriors and the Gold Coast Titans coming up. So Chanel Harris-Tavita for me gets a 5 out of 10. Now on to his halves pairing, and that is halfback Cody Nikorima. And I've got to say, coming into this game, myself, I know a few other people probably would have some question marks on Cody Nikorima going into this 2022 season. Now, Cody Nikorima got the co-captaincy role, the responsibility of that role last night for the Maori All-Stars. And I reckon he stepped up pretty well, and I reckon he had a great game for the Maori All-Stars. I know there might be some people that might disagree with me and say, look, he was quiet, he did nothing very flash, but I think he did a great job. Now, Cody Nikarima did score the opening try for the Maori All-Stars. He scored 1 try. He had 8 all runs for 78 all running meters, 7 post-contact meters, 2 tackle breaks and 1 line break. 16 tackles for 242 kicking meters, guys. So Cody Nikarima was very solid, had a very good game, and I'm going to give Cody here. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Actually, I think he was good, and I know there might be a lot of people that might disagree, but I think he had a pretty good, solid game for the Maori, and he really stepped up and showed why he still wants to be a starting halfback in the NRL. But we shall see what happens in the preseason trials. This is only 1 game, so it's hard to get an indication after 1 game. But he definitely stood up and showed that he wants to be in the NRL starting side this year for the Warriors. But we will see what happens against the Melbourne Storm if he does get selected. So 7 out of 10 for me for Cody Nikarima. Now on to the last player that represented us for the Maori All-Stars in this game was Jazz Tavanga. Now look, I think Jazz Tavanga cops a lot of criticism. People say he's ill-disciplined. He gives away a lot of penalties. People say he's not that great. Well, look, yes, he gives away penalties, but I'm sure a lot of players do give away a lot of penalties and are ill-disciplined. And I think Jazz Tavanga has got a point to prove this year in terms of where he wants to be in the Warriors lineup and whether he wants to start or whether he'll be on the bench. And I think he had a solid game. I think he was very solid. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't perfect. But I think he had a very solid game for the Maori and represented the Maori very well, actually. And I am a big fan of Jazz Tavanga. I think he's got to be somewhere in that Warriors 17 this year. But in terms of the stats for Jazz Tavanga, now he had played 53 minutes. So he played 53 minutes, 11 hit-ups for 14 all runs, all running meters of 94, 98 post-contact meters, 2 tackle breaks, and 3 offloads for 37 tackles. So he was up there with the leading tacklers for the Maori All-Stars last night. And he also, I think for me, had a very solid game in the Maori jersey. But in terms of a rating for Jazz Tavanga, I'm going to give him a solid 6.5 out of 10 for me. I'm keen to see what Jazz Tavanga does this season for the Warriors. And, with the upcoming preseason trials coming up, I'm keen to see what he does in those to stake his claim for a spot in the 17 for round 1 against the Dragons. But that wraps up my player ratings for the Warriors players for the Maori All-Stars and the Indigenous All-Stars. Congratulations to the Maori All-Stars on their victory over the Indigenous, 16 points to 10. Well done to those that represented Jazz Tavanga, Cody Nikarima, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Josh Curran. Congratulations to all those players that represented us in this game, and glad that they came out of this game pretty much unscathed. But let me know down in the comment section below, what do you guys think? Who was the Warriors' standout player for the Maori All-Stars and the Indigenous All-Stars? Let me know in the comment section who stood out in terms of a Warriors player in this game. And also don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please also click that subscribe button. Getting very close to 900 subscribers, so make sure you do subscribe because that is much appreciated and it helps myself and the channel massively. And also don't forget to turn on the bell so you don't miss a notification when I do a new video, and click the like button on the video as well. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.